Welcome back to Pulp Diction. I'm your host, Dylan Gibson, once again joined by Emma Joe Douglas. And this is a very special episode, I think. Been in the works for quite some time. I've been excited for it. I think Emma Joe's been excited for it.
I've been waiting for this one, man.
And the time is finally here. So, Emma Joe, what are we talking about today?
We are talking about Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones started.
Hooray.
When did this show start? Like 2011? Early
I want to say
2010s.
2011, maybe
Yeah.
10.
Ended 2019.
Hmm.
8 seasons based on the novels, the Song of Ice and Fire series by George R. R. Martin. And I fi yesterday,
Hmm.
finally finished the show after a few months of watching.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of thoughts. I have a lot of thoughts. I think I was feeling emotions most people haven't felt since 2019.
Hmm.
Welcome to Pulp Diction, the podcast where I talk about movies with my friends for an academic obligation.
I watched it earlier. I think I started it around February or March and then finished it in like May. And I've been waiting for like somebody to talk to. Like I have a friend who I talk to about it, and so we rant about it, but it's nice to have another person, you know?
Yeah, it's good to have more. The more the
Hmm.
merrier.
Hmm.
And yeah, if for whatever reason you don't know what Game of Thrones is, it's a fantasy show. Uh takes place in a it's very dark. It's a very violent world, lots of sex, violence. It's very realistic for a fantasy show, and
Hmm.
that's one of the things that people love about it, that I love about it. There's a lot to talk about, obviously, and I let's just get the ending out of the way, I guess. It's impossible to talk about this show without talking about the last few seasons, unfortunately.
Oh my God. I knew when I was starting to watch it, it was bad. It's from what I heard. So I was like, but like how bad can it be? You know?
Right.
I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna
Surely.
expect. And oh my God, I never expected to be so disappointed of how a show ended. Like, yeah, I don't think I've ever been that mad about something.
I
I was
know.
screaming at the TV.
Hmm. Like there are some things like Indiana Jones where I'm like, quote unquote, bad Indiana Jones is still a good
Mhm.
movie. So I'm like,
Right.
okay, maybe bad Game of Thrones is still gonna be good TV, but it wasn't.
No, it was terrible. It's so bad. And it's
And
because
oh
freaking the books weren't finished, and so
yeah,
they had nothing to go off.
I mean they've been in the same place since 2011.
Right.
They they caught up to George, and he gave him the bullet points of what's supposed to happen, I believe.
Mhm.
But like, still, it shouldn't all be on him to make a good story, you know? It
No.
just and the thing is, I appreciate a lot of the ideas.
Hmm.
I like the idea of Daenerys like going crazy. I think it makes sense, but
I
they
do like
rushed
it, but
it
like,
so
yeah,
fast. It came
right.
so quickly, and like they surrendered, and she just there's no incident or anything. She just
No.
decides I'm gonna kill this entire city because why
Right.
not?
I would like it was out of nowhere. I was like, what is girl doing? Like you wanted to like protect all these people and you're just, nah, never mind, I'll kill them all.
I know,
What?
and
Oh
she
my God.
just
Don't even get
so
me
many of
started
the
on like
decisions.
the
Ugh.
whole like John's character. Oh my God,
It
dude.
got so bad. He was like probably one of my favorite
He
characters.
is my
He
favorite
was one of my
character.
favorite characters for so long. And in the last season, he's just, she's my queen. It's
No,
like, stop.
she's your
Stop.
freaking aunt. You know, that's what it is. She's your aunt.
Yes. I don't care. She's my queen. I, And I
I
don't
got
know
so
why
grossed out.
everybody around Daenerys becomes so dumb. Tyrion, Varys, Jon, they all
Varys
just
disappointed me so much.
I
I was
was
like,
pit. Like I was holding it like up till the point she killed Varys. I
mhm,
was like fine, whatever. It's I wasn't like pissed, but
yeah,
just the sequence of events that led to Varys dying, like I had
right.
to stop watching. I'm like I couldn't because it was so out of character. Like, how could he was like one of the smartest people, maybe the smartest person in the show, and he
He
let
literally
himself.
was.
Hmm,
He and Littlefinger just
him
had
and
it.
Littlefinger.
They knew everything and just both just died like it was nothing.
I
Littlefinger, I was
know.
happy when he died,
I
but
was happy when he
still,
died, but it was one of those things where, like, the more I thought about it, the more I'm like,
right,
like he never like got another showdown with Varys, which were some of the most fascinating conversations in the early seasons.
right.
Uh, and he just fell for just this stupid little trick. And uh and Arya, don't get me started on Arya. She just became a such a
They ruined her. I did not
she
like
used to
her.
be so cool.
I was real mad.
And
Like,
then
I
she just
like the
became
thought
another
of
like
her.
girl boss. I don't
I
know.
liked the thought of like her going like doing what she was doing. I kind of liked it for a bit, and then I was like, but she's like cold. She's
Yeah.
not her
I
normal
feel like
self.
her becoming a cold assassin should be presented as like a tragedy, not like, oh,
Right.
she's so girl boss. She's so
Like,
cool.
no. She was this bright kid and had a terrible, terrible story, and
Mm-hmm.
now she's just a cold assassin, and
So, yeah,
nobody understands
I
too.
feel like there shouldn't have been so much focus spent on like her in where is it with the fate training with Jaqen and the
It
Faceless
was too
Men.
much. It was too much from that.
Yeah.
Like she could have gotten all that done, like I think in a season.
Yeah,
It took
definitely.
like two or three, I can't remember. But oh my gosh. And her training and like that girl who was always like trying to fight her and kill her was
Mm,
pissing me
it was
off. I was like,
excessive.
just get it over done with.
And
And
I
her
liked
becoming
parts of
blind,
it.
her getting blind for no
That
reason.
was so like holy filler, you know?
No, literally.
And
I loved it though. I loved her character when she was with the Hound so much.
yes, her a lot of Arya's relationships were in the first few seasons, her character dynamics with other characters were some of my favorite parts of the show.
Mhm.
And like the
I,
just the relationships in general in this show are great.
oh my gosh, yeah.
But like you said, Arya and the
I'm
Hound
trying to
was one
remember
of
her
my
name.
favorites in the entire series.
Oh my God, I'm already forgetting her name. The blonde, super tall girl, knight,
Brienne of Tarth.
Brienne. Yeah, I wanted her and Arya to be like have a little more time together.
Mm,
I think they could have done something super, super cool.
I think
But
so.
like, I love obviously I loved Arya and the Hound together. But like, I think like when like the Hound and Brienne had that fight, I kind of wanted Arya to be with Brienne for a little bit and
Yeah.
kind of learn from her. But
But
then
like at
just
the same time, I knew even if Brienne won, Arya wasn't going with
right,
her.
right.
Because there's kind of that theme. It was either shortly before or shortly after too that like Sansa chose to stay with Littlefinger rather than go with Brienne.
It was a little after, yeah.
Yeah.
What she
So
should not have done.
no.
That was
Sansa was
oh
kind of stupid in a lot of the show.
yeah.
Like season one, Sansa sucked.
I hated her.
Yeah, me
Hated
too.
her. I was like, girl, I do not want you here anymore. But
Uh,
ended up
She
loving her
was
in the end.
simping for Joffrey so hard.
He wasn't even cute, girl. What are you
Mm.
doing? He's a rat looking dude. No. I
Which
was,
we'll
oh
talk
my God.
about. We'll talk about Joffrey at some
Oh,
point.
Joffrey.
We will talk about we will.
How do you feel about Bran?
I don't feel about Bran. That's
Yeah.
the thing. The thing
Hmm.
is, so I only found out after I was done with season five that there wasn't a single episode with Bran
There
that
wasn't.
entire time, and
That was the same. I
and
was like
I
just thinking
didn't
about
even
everything
like
that happened. I was like, where did this guy go?
yeah I didn't
What is
even
he doing?
realize until the next time I saw Bran. I'm like, oh, haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't thought about him in a while because he's just
Mm-mm.
it's just so uninteresting.
He's useless. I didn't
Yeah,
like him at all.
and like they keep setting up cool stuff and then just not doing it with anything with it. Like they keep going on about, oh, he's the three-eyed raven now. Okay, what does that
But he was
mean?
only using the
What can he
three-eyed
do?
raven like powers for himself. He didn't use it for
He
anybody.
didn't use it
Like
at
he
all. He's
totally
this
could have seen stuff
emotionless
and helped
husk.
people. Oh my God.
I don't know. Like somehow he became even worse in the last seasons.
Oh my God. He was insufferable last
Mm,
season. I was so annoyed. I was like, how are you just sitting there? Don't even care that you
I don't
see your
know.
siblings. Like he had no emotion when he saw John or Sansa. I was
Mhm.
like, what?
I don't want anything anymore. I don't know. I get that they were trying to do something with it, and I'm
I don't
sure
know.
George will do it better if he's never getting that book out.
Never. That's
But
not happening.
uh
I mean, knock on wood, if he does, I'll definitely read that, but who knows if that
yeah,
would happen.
I do really want to read the books now, even though they're
Hmm.
not finished yet. I we're literally getting GTA 6 before we get the next Song of Ice and Fire book.
No, literally.
I It's crazy. But
Where um I actually screamed at my TV when they were like, Bran needs to be king of everything.
I was gonna ask what yeah,
I
let's
was
make him king.
so
Why?
mad. And for what? He isn't a good character. For why him? Sansa
Yeah,
was right there. Like literally anybody, not even just her. There's other people. Oh my God.
I don't
Like,
it
I was
sucks.
shocked. I
I
was like,
mean,
that's like the last person I would have
I
picked.
was I I don't know about the last person. I was sitting there, I'm like, I mean, okay, fine, I guess. By that time in the episode, I just wanted it over with.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I guess
I didn't like it. I just don't like Bran. So I was like, he does not deserve to have that.
yeah.
Again, anybody else, please. I don't care. And I remember talking with my grandparents when we went to Italy and I found out that they were watching Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon. I was like, oh my God, how do you feel about the last season? And they're like, oh my God, we loved it. And I went, I sat there, jaw dropped, and Ellie went, oh, I'm leaving. She's like, oh my God. I was like, why? And they're like, Bran's so, so smart. And I'm like, no, he's not. I'm like, he's an idiot. He doesn't care about anything.
Yeah, he's uh
Oh my God, I'm dying.
yeah, no, I am too. I've had a cough all day. I don't know where
Anyway.
it came from. Yeah, he's just so uninteresting. Even like before he became the three-eyed raven, his story
Hmm.
to me was always like, oh, we have all these crazy intriguing like political stories with high suspense, high tension or whatever. And then we have, oh, the kids are going on their little adventure beyond the wall and
Hmm.
finding trying to find the three-eyed raven. And it just felt so out of place and weird and
It did.
uninteresting. And
How do they
I
live beyond that wall for
I
so
don't
long?
know. And
It's a
I kept
paralyzed
waiting for it.
child.
I kept waiting for it to pay off, and it never did. And
No.
ugh,
I wanted them to die. I was like, I was ready for, I knew the guy, what's his name? The guy who played Newt in Maze Runner. I can't remember the actor's name.
yeah.
Yeah, I knew he was gonna die. I was like, I'm ready for you to die. I wanted the girl to die. She was pissing me off. And then,
Did she die or did she just leave?
see, I can't remember now that I think about
Okay.
it. I
I
don't
don't.
know. Either way,
Yeah.
still, I was glad she was gone, whether she was dead or just left. But I did not want Hoda to die at all, and I was so
Hodor.
mad. I was so
Hodor.
mad. His story's so sad.
I
It's all because of
know.
Bran.
I Hodor was one of my favorite characters, and it was
I
like that was
want.
one. There are many like jaw drop moments in the series, and that
Yes, yes,
one of my biggest ones. Like hold the door.
yes.
Oh,
And she kept saying it, and then like I was like, oh my God. I was like, that's why. I was like, whoa,
hmm
wait, whoa. And I actually almost started crying. I was
And
like, that's so
the kid
sad.
actor kid, I don't know how old he was, does
Well,
such
yeah,
a good
the younger
job
him.
with like
Hmm.
the slow uh like the hold the door slowly goes into hold Hodor, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh my goodness gracious.
when they're saying, yeah, like saying this regular hold the door, I was like, I can kind of hear it, but I don't know how they would make it into that. But he is so good. I was like, you convinced me, you convincing, really convincing.
Yeah.
But
And he
I
was
love
so like
him.
silly beforehand too. He was like, hold on, hold on,
He was like, he's just a happy-go-gay guy. Like he's like, yeah,
yeah,
whatever, it's fine. It's like,
hold on.
no, traumatizing story, actually. Here you go.
Yeah.
Um,
Apparently that's like one of the bullet points he gave him, like a point that he hadn't gotten to in the books yet.
really?
Yeah. So I like and like it's weird with stuff like that and others that like they've proven they could do good stuff without the source material. Like
Hmm.
apparently all the stuff with Arya and Tywin Lannister not in the books. Uh but so they were capable of doing something good. I
Yeah,
think by the end of the series they just wanted to get it over with, like they wanted to move on to something else. But
yeah.
like in that case, they should have just hired different writers who
No,
actually cared.
seriously.
I don't know, because everyone else clearly put so much thought into and effort and care and love into this show.
Yeah, I one of like my Roman Empire is seeing the video of them reading this script for the last
I've
season.
seen bits and pieces. I saw
I
Conleth
remember
Hill, the
seeing,
spider,
yeah,
throwing the script.
that's the guy who played Varys, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's like what I think about. I think of Kit Harington like jaw dropping when he realized like Daenerys dying and everything. Oh my God,
yeah.
I just
Which I feel like by the time he killed Daenerys, I was actually like, it's about damn time. Like this whole season, you should have been doing something about her.
right,
But she's
but
my queen.
still like. I did not want her to die. I was so mad. I was like,
Mm,
I mean, yes, she's insane,
by
but
then
like,
I did. Like she was beyond redemption, and any character gone from this show was a character they couldn't ruin any
no,
further.
that's so fair. Yeah. I just couldn't. Like, she was such an amazing character in the first six
She
seasons, and season
was
seven just dropped out of nowhere. So I was like, dude,
she
like,
was really like what I don't know why or how or when she became so obsessed with
I
like
can't remember.
power
Hmm.
and stuff. Uh, and you got this like not Hitler-esque image. I mean, she's doing a Hitler speech by the end of the show,
Oh,
right? To all
yeah.
the Unsullied, and which is
Hmm.
like okay,
Which
and
gave
it's
me chills. Oh my God.
yeah,
I was like, girl.
and it's like all this stuff is like it's so cool in theory, but
Yeah.
it was an it they packed all these storylines into a 6 episode season when it should have been packed into like three of the normal 10 episode seasons at minimum.
Right. Right. This easily could have had like, yeah, like three, four extra seasons. Did not need 6 episode season. Made me so mad. I
I
saw
know.
that. I was like, how are they supposed to finish that with 6 seasons? With 6 episodes. The freaking battle episode pissed me
With
off.
the Battle of Winterfell and the White
Yes.
Walkers.
Yes.
Like, it's shot so dark, you can't see anything. You
You
can
can't see
see if
nothing.
you like strain your eyes, I guess. And like all
Hmm.
the main characters survive because why wouldn't they? And except
Right.
Jorah and
But
I don't know.
yeah, oh, we
But
were just Theon.
Theon. Theon is one of
Theon's
the few
death made me
characters
cry.
that I think, yeah, he got to me a little too, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I think his death was one of the few highlights of season 8.
Hmm.
Like it was such a great ending for his arc.
Hmm.
I'd argue he had like the most consistent arc throughout the entire series, beginning to end.
Definitely.
Like
Definitely.
the fall, the
Hmm.
torture, the
Hmm.
redemption, and finally the sacrifice.
It was amazing.
His it's one of the greatest redemptions I've ever seen in anything, and I loved his storyline so
Oh
much.
yeah. I was so hurt like every time seeing him throughout the
I know.
torture
I know.
arc. I was like,
It's
I
like
don't
at
want to see
first you're like,
this.
ah, yeah, you're getting
Right.
what you deserve. But then it
Mhm.
keeps going and keeps going. And you're like,
Right.
okay,
You
we can
can stop.
chill
We get
down a little.
it.
And then he cuts his
Right.
pee off, and you're
Oh
like,
my God.
okay, um, maybe let's not.
I know. I was talking with my friend Grayson, and he was like, "Where are you at right now?" And I was like, "Randy's getting tortured as he should." He went, "Oh no!" And I went, "Huh?" I was on it for the first time. I was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "I'm ready for this guy to die." Like he caused all this nonsense, and he's so annoying.
Yeah.
And then I was like, by the end of whatever season, when it was just going too far, I was like, "Okay, I need it to stop now.
Yeah.
When does it
Apparently,
end? When does he get
apparently
his
it's
redemption?"
like crazy how he writes it in the book because
Oh, I
the
bet.
the chapter is so I guess all the chapters are from like a certain character's perspective. So it's titled like Arya or Sansa or Jon or whatever.
Okay,
And so
I like that.
he puts Reek at the beginning of this chapter, right? And so you're like,
Hmm.
oh, it's a new character being introduced.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's getting tortured and describing all this stuff happening to him, and you slowly realize that's Theon Greyjoy.
Oh my God, now I need to read these books. Oh,
Yeah.
that's terrible.
One of the other highlights of season 8 for me was the Hound. I thought they did a good job with him and his ending. Like it was kind of tragic. I did like that he finally got to face off with his brother.
Hmm.
And
Right,
that
because he died too, didn't he?
yeah, the mountain.
Oh God.
And
His brother being like that type of guy, I was like, what happened to you? Like, oh my God.
yeah, it was kind of crazy. I
It
was
was
glad we got
insane.
like a face reveal because they'd
Hmm.
kind of set that up. And the Hound was and like some people don't like it. They say he should have like given it up, but he tried to give it up and it didn't work. And I think this is a good like tragic end to a tragic kind of character.
Right.
And the Hound was one of my favorite characters for the entire show. I
Me too.
I loved his relationship with Arya. Uh I loved just how he insulted everybody. And he was
He
the
was
Hound was
crazy.
he was just
Oh
a
my God.
beast.
Do you
Like
know? Oh my God, one of my favorite. It's supposed to be not my favorite, but like one of the coolest lines he said is like, if you die with a clean sword, like I'm gonna like rape you or whatever. Like he's like, I'll rape your dead corpse. And
which
I
he
was like,
definitely wouldn't, but like
right, but
he's
still,
just
he had
saying
the
that to
hardest
scare
lines.
to
I
be
was like,
scary.
oh my God, dude.
Love
I was
him so
obsessed with
much because
him.
he's so self-loathing and just hates
Oh
himself, he
yeah.
hates everyone else, and but he's just he's so good at what he does. But and
Mhm.
like I said, he's just a beast.
Insane.
Like when he's
Right.
fighting the priest guy, Eye Patch, who keeps coming back,
Yes.
Patchy,
Yeah.
One-Eyed Willie.
I don't
Um,
remember.
I when he cuts through the sword and gets him, I'm like, holy crap.
Oh my God.
He's
I
so
love it. I
cool.
love it. I don't even care who it is. I love it when it's a character who deserves to get killed and they get killed the most brutal way, like through a sword like that. Oh my God. There's a scene like that in House of the Dragon, and I need you to watch this show
Oh, I will. I
because someone
right
really
now I
deserves
need a
it.
fantasy break.
Oh
But
yeah. I
like
don't blame you. But like there's a character in House of the Dragon. They're talking real bad about someone, and like another character gets mad and like slices their head
oh
off. And it's
and
amazing. And I was
oh
like, absolutely. I'm here
yeah.
for it.
And like Game of Thrones does something like I I always love when a show or movie or anything is able to do it where I'm like I want to cheer when I see certain people die. And this
Right.
has probably more of those characters than anything else I've ever seen between
Hmm.
Joffrey and Ramsay,
Oh my God. Oh
Cersei,
my God. Yes.
Cersei. Um one of
Cersei. Oh my God. I hated the way she died.
I
I
know.
hated it.
I it
She deserved
sucked.
to get sliced.
She deserved
And
so much. I We spent 6 seasons despising this woman. And and granted, she
we,
did get like a lot of, emotional torment along the way. You had the walk of shame, you had Joffrey
best
dying.
thing. I was like, get her,
Like
please.
shame, shame,
Shame.
shame. And it was great. Uh
Oh, but I hated it since like she died with Jamie.
with Jamie. Yeah.
I
And
hate it so
Jamie,
much.
to be
Jamie
honest,
was my favorite.
he
He
was
was my
so
favorite for a
good.
while.
I
He
hated
was
him so much
amazing.
at first, and then I loved
Right.
him so much.
Exactly. And he could have stayed. He could have stayed with Brienne and it would have been amazing. And no, he had to be with his sister. He didn't need to be with his sister.
I don't like that Jamie slept with Brienne.
You
I
don't?
No, I think they had a wonderful friendship
Hmm.
and that there was no sexual romantic chemistry between them
I kind of felt
whatsoever.
the chemistry a little
I
bit.
mean, there was
Like,
chemistry, but I felt it as like respect and
mhm.
friendship. I just didn't like that they decided to do that. And
I thought it was cute
but
because like,
like
but also at
sure.
the same time, like I wanted her with that the
Tormund.
redhead wildling. Yes, I
Yes.
kind of needed that.
That
I
would
was
have
like,
been so funny.
he was so obsessed with her, and I actually
Yeah, I
loved
won't.
that.
He was really funny in the
So
last
he was
couple seasons, and I
hilarious.
loved him a lot. But at the same time, I feel like they kind of flanderized him because he went
Oh
from
yeah.
this like kind of cool, maybe occasionally sort of funny, but
Hmm.
like just
They made him
rough
into too
wildling
funny.
guy. But then
Yeah.
they kind of Draxified him, you know?
Hmm.
And uh and like
Draxified. I love that.
I did laugh at it, but like
Hmm.
uh it could have been better.
He needed to be a little more colder. He was too
Yeah.
happy at the end. I was like,
Yeah.
none of that. I don't like happy in here.
And there's just so much in that last season uh that I just dislike. But like I don't want to only focus on the last. It's so easy to
Oh
get
yeah.
caught up and to talk all day about the
What is your favorite? Yeah.
disappointments.
What is your favorite season? Like good for
That's
good stuff.
that's rough. That's a tough question.
Hmm.
I kind of want to say season 3 just because
Okay.
like the main thing I remember from that is the red wedding.
Oh my
And
God,
like
that's my
that's one
least
of
favorite.
That's, I mean, and I hated watching
Oh
it,
yeah.
but like, I loved that this show was something that could make me feel the way that episode did.
Oh yeah.
Like, the only time, one of the only times I'd ever seen an episode like that in a TV show was
Mhm.
this one in X-Men 97, where
Okay.
just this shocking thing happens, where
Mm.
all these people just die, and you're like, holy crap.
Yeah.
It's
Oh man.
And it gave me a
Dude.
very similar vibe to that, where my jaw was dropped and I was just
Mhm.
in total shock staring at the credits, and I I just had to decompress for a bit.
I gasped so loud. I remember so vividly. I was sitting in my dorm watching it and it
Mhm.
started happening. She pulled back like the guy's sleeve and I'm like,
Yeah.
why does he have like his freaking night stuff on? And then like, oh my
They
God.
start
Then she
playing
started
the
going at
Reigns
it.
of Castamere,
Oh my God. The
and
music. Like haunting. That was like it was
I know,
terrifying.
like, dude, I still like I was listening to the soundtrack on Spotify the other day,
Yeah, me
and
too.
that
Me
song
too.
comes on, and I'm like, all the feelings come rushing back. I'm like,
Right.
no,
Oh my
no,
God.
no.
I saw this video. Oh my gosh, it was just I dare like Game of Thrones fans, like you'll have to play this song at your wedding
Oh,
and only the real ones will know.
oh
And I'm
no,
like, wait. I was like, why would I want to do that? Why do I want to do that?
that would be really
Like it's
funny.
so stupid, but it's so funny. I was like,
But
then I
yeah,
would know who actually
I
knows.
like I remember so vividly. I was in bed. I was
Hmm.
on my phone. I'm like, oh, I'll just watch one more episode before I go to sleep. It'll be
I was
fine.
like always on my phone while watching this show too.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like paying attention, but I would still be on my phone. And
Right.
I dropped my phone while watching the Red Wedding. I was like, oh my
Yeah.
God. I was like, what's happening? Whoa.
Yeah.
Like, not
I
okay.
was in there. I'm like silently screaming, not wanting to wake up
Yeah.
everyone else in the house. I'm
Right,
like,
right.
no, 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 please, no. And
I
uh,
was done.
I was
I literally was like, I can't
devastated.
watch anymore. I'm done. Oh my God. It's always the ninth episode of each season too that
Yeah,
does
it
something
is.
insane. Like, Jesus, dude. I'm done.
And they did
Oh
such a
man.
good job with that. And just
Hmm.
those early seasons were so perfect,
Dude,
like
okay.
evoking these feelings.
Yeah. And like my gut, like I almost got sick seeing the episode after the Red Wedding when they stitched the wolf head on his body.
Yeah.
no words. I sat there, I was like, and it was like opening scene. I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah, and
Like, oh
Arya
my
sees it
God.
too. She and the Hound
Right.
stumble across it. And it's
Oh
this
my God.
beautiful, like beautifully written just irony that they get there just as he dies. And
Right.
just
Oh
there
Lord.
I love this series so much. The writing was the highlight for so long, and then it was its downfall at the end. Just it was so poetic and so realistic and so and just these characters and this world and these events and these places, and I loved it. I loved it so much. Oh,
It's such like it's a world like it's kind of like you're like one you can get lost in, you know,
very
when you
much
watch
so.
like Harry Potter or watch like old Marvel, not like the
Hmm.
newer stuff, like the older stuff when you were obsessed. Like
Right.
it's like, oh my gosh, it's a place I want to live in. I was like, I want to be there.
I don't know that I'd want to
Like
live in Westeros.
I want to be there. I want to be someone who's like definitely like with higher power,
I mean,
definitely.
yeah. The
But
thing is,
still.
it's it's a different kind of fantasy. Like
Hmm.
I was thinking about it, like just look at the armor, right? It's not shiny or
Right.
clean
No.
or unscratched, or it's got scratches and dirt
Right.
and dents.
Hmm.
It's like it's a very realistic take and it just world, and it just happens to have all these fantasy elements,
Yeah.
especially the first season. Like
Oh yeah.
a lot of that may as well not even be a fantasy until like the last episode with the dragons and the
Yeah.
witch and whatever.
Hmm.
Like it's just so good just for the political intrigue of this story with Ned Stark and all the
Yes.
different houses.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And oh, it's so cool. And but of course they kind of lean, and it was so just subversive too.
Hmm.
Like like they set all this stuff up, uh but they were subverting your expectations, not in the annoying Ryan Johnson Last Jedi way, but in
Right.
like a way that was genuinely clever and
Hmm.
like made you feel like with the Red
Right.
Wedding.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
set up Robb Stark as this like on this revenge story, the hero
Hmm.
picking up his father's name and everything,
Hmm.
avenging his death. But of course it all goes downhill so quickly because
Right.
he couldn't keep a promise.
Just because he couldn't marry this one girl. Oh my God. I was like,
Yeah,
dude, he just had
which
to get
I
married, I
I was
guess.
I was a little tense with what's his name, Walter Frey, up until he was like basically like, yeah, she's pretty hot. I don't blame you. But
Talking
of
about the
course he
child, I was like,
yeah, but of
okay.
course uh he kills both of them anyway. And I was really glad Arya finally got to kill him.
Hmm. I cheered for that. I was like,
Yeah. Yeah,
absolutely.
they chose
A
such a
perfect
perfect
way to end
actor
the
for him
episode.
too. Perfect way
Yes.
to end it. Was it the end of that season or the beginning of
It wasn't, I think it was like, no, it was the beginning of a season.
mm,
I
but
think it was
yeah,
like season seven,
yeah,
season
I
six.
think you're right.
Yeah.
But yeah, they chose such a perfect actor for him, the guy who played Filch.
Yes, I
Um,
saw him and I was like, oh my God, Harry
yeah, look
Potter.
who it
And then
is.
he turned out to be a terrible character. I was like,
I
oh,
mean, he's
never mind.
Filch. He's playing the same person he played in Harry Potter, basically. Just like
But Phelps
worse.
didn't kill everybody.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
come on.
And the casting was great for the entire show. Like everyone was perfect, and it was awesome. Like I love every one of them. Kit
Oh my God,
Harington,
yeah.
uh, Emilia Clarke,
Hmm. Hmm.
even like Peter Dinklage, of course.
Of course. Oh my
Even
God, he was my favorite. I love
yeah,
him.
Tyrion was my favorite for so long, and then he
Hmm.
just became so useless towards the end.
Yeah.
And I keep doing this like I don't want to get caught in just the trap of only talking
Yeah.
about the end, but like
But like you kind of have to, and
it
this
was
always
that
leads
bad.
to it. Yeah. He, oh, I can never remember the seasons or like what happens in each season because it's been so long since I've watched it.
Right.
But like the trial
The
after,
trial
oh my God, I
after
got chills.
Yeah, like when he
So
like
many
calls everyone
kills.
out in the courtroom.
I was like, I
That was
didn't kill him,
like
but God, I wish I
I
did.
know, like during his speech, it was like the opposite of the Red Wedding,
Right.
where I wanted to get up. I was alone in the house and I'm
Hmm.
watching the TV. I'm like, yes! Like it was just this release.
I was
I
like, pop
was,
off, Tyrion. Absolutely. I was
yeah.
yelling at it. I was so
He is my
happy.
like I wrote in my I had a note stock for the series. I didn't use
Hmm.
it like that much,
Right.
but like as soon as that episode was done, I just wrote all caps, Tyrion is my goat. He is
Yes.
the best.
Oh my
He was
God.
funny, he was charismatic, he was
I,
smart,
yes.
and he was so cunning and cool
Hmm.
and everything I wanted. And of course, in the last couple of seasons, he becomes
Useless.
dumb.
Useless, useless, useless. What is the freaking names? I love him in like the little trio. I can never remember their names. Like the guy who's like the not a I guess he's like not really a squire. What's his
Ron,
name? Podrick.
Podrick,
Podrick is the little
Podrick.
dude. And then the other
Yes.
guy who was always drunk. Dude, Podrick, I loved him. He was
The
so
scene where he puts the payment to the prostitutes on the table
I
because they
laughed
wouldn't
so
expect
hard.
it.
He's like, they wouldn't take
Yeah.
it. Like, what'd you do? Tell
We
us
need
everything.
details. He's so good. I was so glad Podrick lived to the end of the show.
Me too. I was like, I need as many scenes with him as I can.
I know.
He was so adorable. He was just like, I don't
Um,
know what I'm doing, but I'm here for it. And then him like wanting to become a knight, like, yes,
yeah.
dude.
I wrote down like a lot of my favorite character dynamics in the show because that was one of the
Hmm.
biggest things I loved about this show were the
Yeah.
character dynamics. And like half of the list is just Tyrion's various relationships with people.
Right,
Like
right.
Podrick, I
Yes.
love, and Podrick's later relationship with Brienne is great
I
too.
love that one. It was so good.
Yeah. But Tyrion's relationship with Podrick, with Bronn, with
Yeah.
Varys,
Hmm.
uh even with even his relationship with Cersei and Tywin, like on the opposite side of the
Yeah.
spectrum. Like I loved his kind of this just from the storytelling perspective, the way Tywin like was basically a perfect leader, but his biggest
Hmm.
flaw was just he wouldn't accept his son, who,
Right.
aside from being a dwarf, was like
Hmm.
everything he actually wanted in his son. He just couldn't
Yeah,
get
yeah.
past the fact that he was a dwarf and he killed his mother.
Hmm. It's terrible. And
And
even like him and like Tyrion and Jamie. Like
yeah,
same thing. Oh my God. And I
and
loved how close they got towards the end.
I know.
And there
I
he goes and gets himself killed and
I
Tyrion
think
sobs and I cried. I was
that
like, how
was
dare
I
y'all?
think that was the best scene of season 8 when Tyrion finds Jamie and
Yes.
Cersei.
I love that scene.
And Peter Dinklage does such an
Oh my
amazing
God.
job. Like it's no wonder he won like a bazillion Emmys
Oh,
for this
right, yeah.
show.
He deserves every award for that show. Like, oh my God. He
Yeah,
needs an Emmy just for the trial speech.
he
Like,
needs a hug.
oh my God, he does.
I you know what I love the fact that apparently in between takes of a scene with Tywin and Tyrion, Charles Dance, who played Tywin, would
Yeah.
like apologize to Peter Dinklage for being so mean to him.
I always love when actors are like that. They're like, I'm
I know,
sorry.
like they'll be the nicest person in real life, and
Right.
then they'll go on camera
Terrible
like, "You're
guy.
my daughter, and you will marry Loras Tyrell.
Oh my
I
God,
did
he's
want you
hilarious.
dead, but you wouldn't die. I respect that." I loved his death. I loved that he died on the toilet.
Oh yeah.
Like, get absolutely owned, you piece of crap.
For real. Oh man. I loved Oberyn Martell.
Oberyn
Pedro
Martell.
Pascal.
He was only
I
there
don't
for
care.
one
He was only,
season,
yeah,
but he
seven
shined.
episodes. 7 episodes, but it was great. He needed so much more. Oh my God. He
Yeah,
would have done amazing.
he would have. But like it, and it's along with the subversion that I love so much. Like they set up this like revenge story, this
Hmm.
hero
Right.
kind of rising up. And then again, and it for a while there, it looks like, hey, he's gonna do it. It's really
Hmm.
great.
Yeah.
And then
He's had to keep
he
talking.
slips up. He just, yeah, he could have ended it right then and there, but he
Yeah.
had to taunt him and all that stuff. And and I like so fast went from all right, yeah, you got this to oh no, oh
It was such a
no,
terrible death. I was like, what are
yeah,
you
one of the
doing?
worst ones in the show.
Literally,
Oh,
I was like,
it's
guys,
so bad. He pops his head and crushes his
it was
eyes.
so bad. I can't. I was
Uh,
like, mm-mm.
and of
Oh,
course
just
he
making
did
it
like,
worse because it's Pedro Pascal. How dare they?
yeah, and of course he did like, I guess his spear was poisoned or whatever because he did do all that to the mountain, who ended up
Hmm.
becoming a monster.
Right.
So he kind of got something, but I hated Oberyn's like wife and the kid, the daughters or
Oh, the
whatever
girls
so
hated them.
much.
Mm-mm.
I'm
Them
like,
killing Cersei and Jamie's daughter.
mm.
Oh,
And the King of Dorne or Prince of Dorne, whatever it was, the ruler in the
hmm
wheelchair. I'm
mm-hmm.
like, why? Stop. No.
Yeah.
This really think this is like you're doing all this in the name of T not Tyrion, Oberyn, when
For
like,
no reason. He wouldn't
yeah,
want that.
no.
Auburn was like the sweetest guy. He did
Yeah.
not want any of that.
Oh, he
Oh my
he
God.
deserved so much more, but so
Hmm.
often in this world, people who don't deserve what they get, whether they deserve good or bad, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And that's
I
kind of the beauty of it.
hmm I hated so much that they killed the daughter right when she was talking with Jamie.
Yeah,
Oh, I cried. I was like, let this man have some happiness. Let him have his daughter,
I know.
please. Oh my God, that was so terrible. And then like the younger like dude, the kids' deaths were just the worst.
Yeah.
Obviously, like Joffrey, I didn't care for. Like, go ahead and die.
Hmm.
But the daughter and this other kid, I can't remember his
Those
name.
were like the only kills
Oh
of
my
Cersei's that I
God.
was like, yeah, yeah, that's deserved.
Hmm. Hmm.
Oberyn, yeah, Oberyn in the Mountain was one of my I loved the fights in the show just all throughout.
Yeah.
Oberyn versus the Mountain was one of my favorites. It was
Hmm.
awesome until it wasn't.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
loved a lot of the Hound's fights. I loved the Hound versus Brienne.
I love that one.
Brienne versus Jamie was really good,
Hmm. Hmm. I loved the Battle of the Bastards.
of course.
I will always talk about that
Like
episode.
highest rated episode of the show,
Yep. For a
and
reason.
it
It's amazing.
has a reason. It's wonderful. I don't know if it's my favorite episode of the show, honestly, but
Hmm.
like it's up there.
It definitely is.
Probably the best battle in the show.
Hmm.
And oh,
Just
it's
the beginning of it too. Like I was just like so hooked from the start.
hmm
Like when they had I can't remember the names. I'm terrible with the names in the show. John's younger brother running
Rickon.
across the field. Yeah.
Yeah, that was tense.
Oh
But
my
like
God.
it was kind of funny to me. Like Rickon was the brother I always forgot. Like I
I
remember
didn't even
he
know they had
like
another one.
showed up like a season or so in with
Yeah.
Bran, and I was like, where did this kid come from?
I had no idea. I was like, I can't remember who you are.
Yeah, and he didn't even have a line in that
Hmm.
in the Battle of the Bastards,
No.
and which I don't know. Maybe he's more important in the books, but
Maybe. I
like
don't know.
I don't know. It did kind of feel like they just wanted to get rid of him,
Hmm.
but like
But
it was
still, it was
great.
such an amazing scene to like start off a battle like that
Yeah.
and have it so
I
tense.
was kind of pissed at John for like charging in instead of playing it safe.
Right.
Uh and it's great. I will say it's like it's less so that episode is less of like the subversion of fantasy tropes that a lot of the earlier seasons are, and more
Yeah.
of like the traditional fantasy. Like
Hmm.
when all hope is lost and the Knights of the Vale come in to the rescue,
Right. Right.
which I loved, but I was a little like, why didn't she just tell him about the Knights of the Vale? But
Yeah. I don't even know.
like, I don't know. It was great. It's a fantastic. episode. I love the one shot of him like just drawing his sword while the cavalry is
Yes.
approaching.
Oh my God, that's my favorite shot.
Yeah.
And I loved when he was like when it was everybody like fighting and everything. He's right in the middle. He's looking up.
And he's
I
like
talked about it.
suffocating. Yeah.
I was talking about it in film, art of film. We were talking, oh, like God's eye shots and everything like that. And there's he was like, does anybody have an example of movies? People were talking, and I was like, mine's not a movie, but everybody should know this one. There's two. Game of Thrones when Jon's doing that, and the other one, Daenerys is surrounded by, I can't remember who she was surrounded by, but she was in blue and everybody was in tan. And he was like, did you finally watch Game of Thrones? I was like, I did. And he's like, how'd you think of season 8? And I was like, I hated it. And he's like, good. He's like,
Good.
good.
That's the right answer.
I know. He was like, I think I would have yelled at you if you liked it. And I was like, God, no. I love that professor. He loves Game of Thrones so much, hates season 8. He's obsessed with Last of Us, and he and I talk about it all the time. The
Mm,
season 2 trailer dropped, and
it
I showed it
did.
to him, and we talked about it for like 10 minutes, and then I had to go to class.
I haven't watched the trailer yet,
Oh,
actually.
we're gonna talk about it after. We're gonna talk about it
We're gonna
after.
talk about it after.
That'll be an
You know
episode.
what?
Oh,
That
wait. Oh my
we
God.
should do a
Anyway.
Last of Us episode.
Yes.
I just started the game actually.
Yes. Do
Yeah,
it.
I
That's so
haven't had
fun.
time to play it in like a week.
That's fun. It
But
took me forever to do the games, but oh, they're so
oh
good.
yeah,
They're my
it's
favorite
great.
things in the world. Oh, if I start talking about it, I
Yeah.
will go on a
That's
tangent.
that's another good like great HBO series, and
Amazing.
I love it for a lot of the same reasons, like the
Hmm.
realism, just
Yes.
the poetry of the writing.
Hmm.
Uh Pedro Pascal, Bella
Pedro
Ramsey,
Pascal. Oh my
both
God, I'm not ready for season 2.
nobody
I'm gonna
is.
be a wreck. It's not gonna be okay. Like, dude, I was at work. I was sitting in
Ooh,
this office with my boss. He was in a Zoom meeting, and so I'm like sitting there, and I was scrolling on Instagram, and then I saw that it was like 2 minutes ago posted, and then I was like, oh, what's this? And then I saw Catherine O'Hara talking. I was like,
yeah.
oh my God. I was like, you're kidding me right now. And there was like I went on YouTube instantly just so I could find it in like side view. And I was like, we're blasting this thing in my earbuds. And I almost cried right then and there. And I was like, my boss is gonna think I'm a weirdo. He's like, he's gonna look at me like I'm crazy.
What
It
is
was
going
so
on?
bad.
Someone just die? Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't understand. I almost asked him, like, because he's kind of younger. I almost asked him if he's played the games or seen it, but literally he was in the meeting the entire time. And I left
Yeah.
before I could ask. But
One thing about this show, like it was so good at just having all these different storylines going on at the same time, but not feeling
mhm.
crammed too full of them
Yeah,
until the last couple seasons where it all kind of converges.
right.
Uh,
I liked
but
having
like
that many multiple, like,
yeah, and
it was like a little bit
it
each
made the
episode.
moments where they like overlapped so satisfying too.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
when Sam meets Bran, uh,
Yes. Oh man.
all that kind of, or when Tyrion meets Jorah, all that stuff.
Oh, I forgot about that. That was really satisfying. I
Yeah,
liked that a lot.
but I don't know.
Mm.
What were some of your favorite storylines from the show, would you say?
I loved I liked a lot of Jon Snow
Yeah. Uh
up at the
Castle
wall.
Black, I
Oh
think.
yeah. Well, like I just like everything about like his side
Everything
like
of
story.
Jon Snow was awesome. Like he was like medieval John Wick, you
Yeah,
know?
he was. He just like
He was
I
a
loved
beast in combat.
yes.
He was
Hmm.
just a good person, which is
Hmm.
rare in this show.
I loved his relationship with Ygritte, the wild thing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was my favorite storyline. Their little romance thing.
The
I was
fact they
so
got
obsessed with
married
it.
in real
They got
life
married in real
too.
life. I cried when I saw. I was like, no, there's no way. I got so happy because then, like, she's dead in the show, so they couldn't be together in there.
Mhm.
I was like, as long as they're actually together, they're fine.
Yeah.
They're fine. But
I loved Jon Snow and Kit Harington so much. It's like
mhm.
actually given me some slight desire to watch Eternals finally.
You've never
Just
seen
I
Eternals?
never watched Eternals.
I'm not gonna lie, it's not terrible. People
Yeah,
think it's
really.
terrible, but like If you think of
Mm.
everything they're releasing right now, it's a lot better than that. It is a lot better than that stuff. But
Interesting.
I like
But
Eternals because of the characters. I don't like
yeah,
a little bit of the
not the
plot's
story, but the
annoying,
characters.
but the
I get
characters are
it.
really good.
Yeah, yeah, just because of Kit Harington and Richard Madden now, I
Oh yeah. And I think there's somebody else in that who is in Game of Thrones. I cannot remember
Mm,
who. Anyway, but that's good.
but yeah, John was like the moment where he became Lord Commander, like, oh,
Oh,
that's great.
so satisfying.
It's uh,
Him coming back to life and everybody be like,
yeah, I when he got murdered, I was like that was one of the biggest jaw
I
drop
remember
moments for
you showed
me.
me the pic, you texted me a picture. I
Yeah.
was like,
And like but like at the same time, obviously I like everyone knows he's in like the last season.
yeah,
So
because everyone knew, like, yeah,
and the Battle of the Bastards, of
right, right,
course.
right.
So I'm like, how are they gonna do this? Like
I was
what's
so
the deal?
confused. I was like, wait. I was like, how do they do
But
that?
like I the more I thought, I'm like, there were only two outcomes really was he was gonna get brought back to life, like what's his face? One-Eyed Willie.
Yeah.
Or he was or like Arya was gonna come out of nowhere and like wear his face, but I feel like she wouldn't do that.
No, that's so funny. I was
But
gonna wear his
like
face.
his death and resurrection was so insanely cool.
Hmm.
Uh
Him
and
killing the people who killed him.
yeah, that was
Satisfying.
dark. I mean, it was sad. It was bittersweet because he killed
Hmm.
Ollie too, the kid.
Oh, I know.
And I'm like,
But all they
oh,
killed Ygritte, so I was like, whatever.
yeah. And him.
Right. No, but still, I was like, your kid's pissing me off. He needs to
Yeah.
die.
He was, oh, and his arc was like a short but tragic one, I think. Like with
Hmm.
the wildlings killing his village. I feel like they kind of just swept that under the rug with like
Oh yeah.
Tormund killing all like I don't know, like I said, they Draxified him.
Hmm.
They completely forgot about the dark aspects.
Right.
But John, for so much of the series, was one of the greatest characters. And I was like the twist of his true parentage. Like from the first episode, I was so like they set up this mystery, right, of who
Right.
his mother was,
Hmm.
and they didn't disappoint. It was such a satisfying, neat answer. Like
I
Jon
liked it,
Snow
but
is a
I also didn't.
Targaryen.
Yeah, I liked it, but I also didn't because like I wanted Ned to be his dad. Like he looks
Yeah.
up to him so much.
But for all intents and purposes, Ned Stark was his father. Like
Yeah.
he raised him. He like Jon was arguably more like Ned than any of the other kids.
Oh, 100%. Like Rob tried and obviously didn't make it,
Yeah,
but like John was Ned.
he was so honorable up until the very end.
Hmm.
Uh, aside from like some hiccups with my queen,
My
but
queen.
you can see him like uh the man who passes the sentence should swing the sword in the execution, right? And he that's what he does.
Yep, yep. Oh,
And
so satisfying.
Ned
Oh my God.
Stark, again, like Oberyn Martell, right? He was such a short-lived character, but you feel his impact for the entire
The
show. And
whole
he's one of my
show.
favorites.
Yes.
Sean Bean is amazing.
I love him. Oh
And
man.
he was just, he was too good for this world.
I just remember seeing him being the poster, and so I thought he at least would say be there until season 2 or 3.
Right.
But no, and I'm like, dude,
Yeah. And it was very like, I mean,
obviously very necessary.
everyone by now knows like that it happens, I feel like.
I think
But
so.
at the same time, like at the time, it was like very necessary to show everyone like this isn't like any other fantasy
Fantasy
show or
story.
even any
Hmm.
other show you've
Right?
seen. Like this is basically our main character and now he's dead. So
Hmm.
you don't know what's gonna happen now, do you?
Oh yeah.
And it's amazing.
I like that they do that, but like I'm trying to think because I don't think House of the Dragon does anything like that.
Mm,
They haven't done anything like that yet. There's obviously been like character deaths that have been sad,
right.
but nothing like, oh, here's the main character and now they're dead.
Hmm. Right.
LOL.
Nothing that
Like,
shocking.
no, it's
Have
nothing.
there been any like huge jaw drop moments in that show, do you think?
I do kind of at the end, the way season one ends is very jaw dropping
Okay.
because it's a death. And it's like, um, huh?
Hmm.
It's he isn't a big character, but he's an important character kind of thing. Not really,
Right.
but still it's like sentimental. And so then like season two did amazing with it because they pick right up after the character's death. Like
Oh, that's
immediately
cool.
after, you see people's reactions,
Hmm.
you see how they go with it. Oh my God. And also season two, it opens with his name is Kragan Stark. So he's like ancestors of the
Mm.
Starks, whatever. And dude, the first song is oh, I can't remember the name of it, but it's like the freaking Stark theme, whatever it is. Like
Oh, nice.
you know where they are. And it's just snow, and then those notes hit. I was like, oh my God, we're so
Is this
back.
like the first
Yeah.
appearance of the Starks in the show?
Yeah, but it's like nobody
Nice.
you know. And it's the one time a Stark is in the show. Like it's opening
Oh.
scene, you get them once because they're at war and they're trying to get different families. And then so then this guy who is a part of the family who's trying to convince the families to do this war gets told that this character is dead. And his reaction, you're like, huh? And so then he goes home and you see everybody's reaction. It's amazing.
Hmm.
And then you kind of see the Stark at the end because all of the families are coming together to have this one big war, and it
Ooh.
never happens.
Oh,
It is a
man.
huge cliffhanger for season two, but we know for a fact that season three and season four are coming out, and they're gonna end at season four. So that's good because they have it planned and read and steady.
Yes, that's it. That is good that they have a
Yeah,
plan.
yeah. And so, see, I think it's either going to be the entire third season is going to be about the war or both seasons. We don't know, but it's
Yeah.
going to be good.
I am interested to see House of the Dragon.
It's interesting. I like
Mm,
it a lot. And the way they do season one is they do the younger cast first half and then the older cast second half.
hmm.
It's real cool. Like
Okay.
it's still same characters, just grown.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah.
Oh man.
I dig it.
Oh yeah. Matt Smith is in it. I
I
love him
know.
so
I
much.
know. I want to
He's
see
such
that.
his character's real good. I'm
I
trying to think.
Yeah, I loved him in Doctor Who, and that was the big one.
Hmm. But yeah, it was just like I always loved hearing little things that you knew would happen like later on in Game of Thrones. It's just like those little hints, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
just the
oh my God.
foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I shoot, what's the spin-off they're working on now? Is um
Oh, I have no idea. I don't even know anything about it.
I want to say it's about Aegon Targaryen, um, who I think grew to become the Mad King.
Oh, I
Uh,
would like that. I can't
yeah.
remember.
Dunk and Egg. I can't remember what that is. I think that's what it is.
I have no idea.
But in any case, Game of Thrones. I So did you have like a favorite death in the show?
Either Ramsay or Joffrey.
Yeah, that's
Like
of
I
course.
was I was so happy when Joffrey died. You
Everyone
don't
was.
understand.
I laughed.
Me too.
Like
I
I
clapped.
when I
I was
realized
so
what was
happy.
happening, just the smile that grew on my
Yes.
face and
I was so
like
happy.
seeing his
And
pathetic little purple bleeding crying choking face.
he deserved that too.
I'm
He
like
didn't need a sword.
ha
He did not. I like if it was like a quick death, I would have been like, fine.
ha.
But he needed like that poison to just kill him slowly. I was
He
like, go
sucked.
through it. Go
Screw
through it.
Joffrey.
Right. Oh my God. And Ramsey's death.
Ooh,
Oh my God.
when John's
Or
just punching him, and again, and I'm like, yes, 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 yes.
Right? I thought he was gonna die right then and there, and they're like, "We're gonna take a
Yeah,
prisoner." I'm like,
but he say like he knows it's not his revenge to take. No, that
"It's
belongs to
Sansa."
Sansa. And with the
I think Theon
dogs,
should have killed him, but
ooh, I think that would have been
I still,
really good.
still his death is very satisfying.
Hmm.
But if Theon did it,
Yeah.
because he was getting like obviously Sansa went through a terrible, terrible time with him, but
Mm.
like Theon was going through that for years.
Yeah. I agree. At the same time though, I think it's good for Theon that he was able to finally just move on from Ramsay.
That's true.
Where was he during the Battle of the Bastards? I'm trying to
Coming
remember.
back home,
Coming,
he was
yeah.
still technically under his power, or like under Ramsay,
Right.
kinda
Okay.
ish.
Yeah.
Like
So
I
I
don't
don't
even
know how he
remember.
would have even handled seeing Ramsay in that position
No.
at that place and time.
Right,
Uh
yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think they like just escaped.
yeah. The Greyjoys were a very interesting family, I think. Well, not all of them. Like basically only Theon and Yara.
Yeah. I like her.
Euron sucked. He was not a good villain. He
People
just
were like, I can't remember what he did, but people were like, I
what
hate him so much. And I'm like, I don't think he's that big of a villain
was it
though.
when he killed the dragon?
I think so. Okay,
That
he
was
did
so
kill the
stupid to
dragon.
me.
I
Like
was really stupid.
how did they not see his ship? Where he teleported.
Literally.
But
He like I people were like he was a terrible, terrible villain. I remember seeing a picture of him, and then when he came in, I was like, okay, like let's see this guy get a terrible story. Like I thought he was about to be worse than Ramsay. He was nothing good. Like
he was
obviously the
trying too
dragon
hard.
death was sad, but I was like, nothing special. Nothing special, dude.
He and he got to die happy too. He's like, I'm the man who killed Jaime Lannister. Whatever.
Whatever, dude. Whatever. But
Whatever.
oh man, I loved, loved, loved. I can't remember her name, but the grandma lady
Olenna.
admitting
Lady Olenna. Oh, that was one of the
she was my
highlights of
favorite.
season 7.
Yes.
And oh, she drinks the poison. She's like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I killed your kid. Yeah,
Tell Cersei. Oh,
I want her to
oh, I
know is
want
so
her
cold. She was
insane.
such a badass. And
And
oh,
just his face too, like slowly
I
realizing
know
when she's
the way
talking about
just
it,
storms out of the
just
room.
standing there. Oh my God,
And like,
dude.
what's he gonna do about it? Kill her?
Right. Already drank the poison. I can't.
uh, but she's so great. I liked I thought Marjorie was cool. Like the way she manipulated people.
I love her. She was one of my favorites.
Hmm.
Dude, I was so upset when she died. I was like,
Yeah.
dang.
That was a crazy moment too
I
with
love that episode. That was
Cersei.
a good episode.
Yeah, it's a great opening with like the piano music and
The
like
music throughout the whole thing.
oh the
Like,
whole show has amazing
oh my God,
music.
that episode's so good.
But I read so I guess that was the first time they'd used piano in the soundtrack, just
Mhm.
to let you know right off the bat like something's up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like I love that like it lets you piece it together as the this montage goes on, and it's just the septum, it gets destroyed.
That whole like culty religion thing that was going on,
I I
I
think
don't know
it
how I
dragged on
feel.
longer than it should
It was
have.
too
It
long.
should have been like one season max. It was
Yeah.
like 2 or 3. I get that they were trying to do some commentary on like the dangers of mixing um of mixing religion with uh,
Power?
power.
Not power.
What is it in the oh with like you know how we have separation of church and state, but this is
Hmm.
like when church and state mix, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I get that that's what they were trying to do like a commentary on or whatever, and I guess, but like at the same time, it it drags out and it's just kind of eh.
I always loved when these characters talked about power. I think
Yeah.
those speeches. or lines were the best thing. I
No,
have two that are my
it's a show
favorite.
filled with fights and violence and sex, and the most
Mhm.
interesting part are the conversations.
Yes. I loved when Littlefinger is talking with Cersei and he's like, knowledge is power. And she's like,
Power
okay.
is power.
And she's like, power is power. And like proves and like almost kills him. Oh my God.
Mm,
I was like, eat him up. Absolutely. I love
yeah,
that. And my favorite is when he's talking, when Varys is talking to Tyrion.
I was gonna say that
He's like, power is a curious thing.
it's an
Oh my God. I
illusion,
have like that whole little speech
a
thing, like
shadow on the wall.
shadow on the wall. Oh my God. Three great men stand in a room. Oh my God, yes.
Varys is awesome. Varys became I hated him so much at first when he
Oh
like
yeah.
got Ned Stark basically got Ned Stark killed, was
Hmm.
helping Daenerys betraying uh King Robert Baratheon.
Right, right.
But like as it went on and I understood why he did all that and understood him more,
Hmm.
I grew to love him
I
so
loved
so
him.
much. And
He
like
did
I
not
said
need to
earlier,
die.
like I said
Oh.
earlier, that was like probably might have been like my most pissed off part. I don't know. Whatever. He was really intelligent, and I loved his scenes with Peter Baelish. Like the little like they were probably the two smartest characters in the show, right?
Oh yeah.
And the little
All like
rivalry
they
they
just
had.
like I've always felt like so confused when they were talking.
Yeah,
I would
like
have
they're
to
too smart for
rewind some
me.
scenes. I was like, what are you saying right now? Like, what does this mean?
And oh, Peter Baelish, he was such a fascinating character
He
too.
was interesting. He
Like
was weird.
I let it's kind of
I
funny. Like in the at first you're like, oh, okay, he's kind of the smart, witty, kind of weird, but ultimately loyal uncle type guy. And then he
yeah.
betrays Ned, and you're like, oh, maybe not. And I
He
like,
like the
oh,
whole him and Sansa thing. I was like, back up, dude.
yeah, when he kisses
Back up.
her,
Also,
oh,
I loved how he was so obsessed with Sansa's mom. And when Sansa's aunt, he and her were like that weird thing. And she's like, I don't remember what she was saying, but he was just like, I've only ever loved one woman. And like, I guess like whatever. And he was like, it's your sister. And he throws her out.
yeah,
Freaking,
yeah, that was
she dies.
awesome
I
when
laughed
he kills
so hard.
Lisa Aaron.
Yes. I was
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, get her out of here.
like, that's a slap in the
Yeah,
face. Like, oh, I don't like you,
like
actually. I like your sister.
get that weirdo out of here. Like breastfeeding
Right.
your son at like 9
Oh my
years old. Who do
God.
you think you are?
That child annoyed me.
That
But he
boy ain't
came
right.
out,
That
he
boy
came
ain't
out
right.
in like season 8, like out of nowhere with the biggest
Oh
glow up
yeah,
I've seen.
yeah. I'm
I
like,
was like, where have
hello.
you been? Like, what?
I his first scene where he's like, "Mother, I'm hungry." Okay, and I'm
I
like,
was like,
no.
I was like, the amount of sex scenes I've seen, this is the most disturbing thing.
It's the
I
most
don't, it's not
disturbing
even
scene in the
sex.
show.
It's disturbing. It's disgusting. I
It
hate it.
sucks. But Littlefinger, I the
He
thing
was
about Littlefinger is
twisty.
like he's twisty, he's
Yes.
manipulative, he's a liar, he's just
Mhm.
so slimy, right? But
Oh,
he's so open about how slimy he is, you almost have to respect it in a way.
mhm.
Like he's like, yeah, don't trust me. Like I'm like he's a piece of crap.
Oh yeah.
And but at the same time, like what he actually does want is so like deceptively simple. Like he just wants power and he wants
Right.
Catelyn or
Yeah.
the next best thing, Sansa. And
But,
which
mm-mm.
okay, whatever.
I love that she became like the Queen of the North thing.
Yeah, I liked her being
That was
Queen of the
actually
North.
really satisfying.
It's that was a good end for her. Like again, like I said, I think a lot of the ideas behind
Hmm.
season 8 were good,
Season 8, yeah.
but just the execution, the pacing
Hmm.
was so
It
dis
was terrible.
oh
I it was so like Littlefinger, I didn't like how he died. but like also like I was kind of like,
Like
it's
you
okay.
can't say he didn't deserve it, you know?
Oh yeah, no. I loved, oh my God, that he forgot that Arya, like what she looked like. Oh
Mm,
my God, satisfying. She's like, my sister asked you a question, or well, not that I forgot what he said. What am I saying? He just like was putting her on trial, and he thought that Arya would
I,
get in trouble, and
I
he's like,
loved that reveal. Like,
yes.
how do you plead, Lord Baelish? And I'm like,
I was like,
oh.
oh my God, what are they doing?
But
She
yeah,
turns, and I'm like, oh
that
my
was
God,
cool. And
I
his
loved
face, he's
it.
just like, "Hmm?
He's like, wait,
Hmm?
hello.
Hmm?
He's like, is that me? What did I do?
Yeah." And just the way everyone just watches while he just dies. It's
One of
great.
my just kind of like that was my favorite was when Jamie was on trial in season 8,
Yeah.
and then Bran's like the things we do for love.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. I was like, I like you for that. That is
That was
it.
like the one good thing Bran did in
Right.
season 8.
The one good line.
You know what I think they should have done with Bran in season 8
Mm.
was I think he shouldn't have given Arya the knife, the dagger, the
Oh
Valyrian
no.
steel dagger.
Mm-mm.
And like in that moment where the Night King catches Arya,
Hmm.
uh
Oh my God.
and- which okay, whatever. I think Bran should have been the one to get to kill the Night King in that moment with that dagger. I think that would have been kind of neat instead of him just being this passive uh, block.
Oh my
But
God. I just, either way, I think he should not have died like that.
yeah, no, he shouldn't
The
have
Night
died
King,
in one episode. Uh,
it's like 7 seasons of build up
yeah.
for an episode. No, you
Uh,
don't do that.
I know I really liked the White Walkers too. Like Hard Home was such a cool
Mhm.
episode. Just because like for a little while it becomes a horror show, right? Because for
Oh,
all
yeah.
intents and purposes, they're zombies.
Yes.
And just the way they just annihilate this little village or whatever.
Yes. Oh my
And when
God.
he brings up all the people in the back, like they're
Yes.
part of his army now, and it's horrifying. And I love a good zombie story more than
Love it. Love it.
almost anything.
Hmm.
And I love the that like in moments like that, this became a zombie horror show
Hmm. Hmm.
in a fantasy setting, which is awesome.
Him like making the dragon into like a White Walker thing. I was like,
I
oh
was
my
like, damn, like I
God.
saw it coming as soon as he
I
killed
did
the
too.
dragon, but at the
Oh
same
yeah.
time, I was still like, oh, like I can appreciate something that's just cool.
Oh yeah. And I'm like, oh man, like he's now this dragon's got to go against like freaking Daenerys herself and everybody
Yeah.
else. That's insane. But I didn't like that if she when she killed the Night King, every single one of them died.
Yeah.
I needed every
They
single
all
one to
Phantom
die on their own.
Menace down.
Yeah,
I,
no.
and like, you can't say it didn't make sense because they'd set it up, but it's still lazy. Like,
Right. It's just like it wasn't like that show. I can't remember if that episode was even like long enough or not,
it was a
but
long episode. I think
okay.
it might have been the longest in the show.
Okay, then that's fine, I
It was like an
guess. But
hour and a
like
half, maybe a little
still
less.
an hour and a half.
But
I need
still,
a season.
yeah. And I will say I liked moments from the episode. I liked the Hound going to rescue yeah, to save Arya. Let's see. I liked Jorah's death and
So sad. Oh
it
my
was
God,
so
Jorah.
sad.
He
But
just wanted to be with Daenerys. Why
yeah,
couldn't he be with that girl?
this unrequited love was
Oh
so
my God.
but it was also kind of weird because she was like very I don't know, the age gap. But like I guess for the world it's
Oh
normal.
well.
Right.
She was an age, got married for like the first season.
True.
It's fine.
But
It's
like
fine.
okay, whatever. And I liked we went over Theon's death.
Hmm.
One-Eyed Willie died, I think, in that episode.
I think so, yeah.
Uh, I think those were the only three, which is
Me
ridiculous. There
too.
should have been.
So
Uh,
there's so much death. I wanted
Yeah.
at least 10,
Like
15
they
people
kept
dead.
showing these characters being like surrounded and cornered by
Yeah.
all of them, and then in the next shot they'd just be fine.
Bella Ramsey's character died. I remember
Yeah,
that.
that's right. That was kind of crazy.
That
She
was so
got
sad.
crushed by the giant.
Yeah. I loved her character.
I did
She's
too.
a cute little
It
child.
was
She's
awesome.
sassing everybody. I was like, absolutely, girl.
Yeah, go off.
All right, like you're 12 years old. It's fine. Leading these people.
hmm Oh, she did great.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, I think that was the end of House Mormont, like, because both of them were like the last two.
I think so.
Yeah. What'd you think of Stannis? I thought he was a very interesting character.
He was weird. Like him freaking killing his daughter.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Insane.
That
And like that other guy, like her older friend, dude, like
Oh,
whatever his
Davos, Sir
hand,
Davos.
or Devos.
I loved
Dude,
him.
he reacted like how the freaking dad should act.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to kill your
I mean,
child.
he didn't. Well, the thing that's so fascinating to me is that he didn't want to kill her, but like he put his duty, what he believed to be his duty, above
Mhm.
everything,
Right.
including his own family. Well, he got desperate enough that he believed he had to do it, and then ironically, it was what led to
Mhm.
his downfall, with half his army leaving before the
Right.
big battle.
Yeah.
So he just does it and goes and gets his men get absolutely slaughtered by the Boltons.
Yeah.
And then he dies to Brienne, of course. Which I
As he
feel like
should.
I was kind of mad they cut away. I feel like they should have shown it,
I needed to see
given more
that.
finality.
Oh yeah.
But he
He
was so
yeah.
interesting because he was like he was a man who fully believed he was right and
Yeah.
was willing to do anything to press that claim of righteousness, uh even if it meant some not very righteous things.
How'd you feel about the red lady?
uh she was kind
She
I mean she
confused me. I was like,
Yeah,
what are you
they
doing
never
here?
really I felt like they never, maybe they did explain it and I just missed it, but I felt like they never really explained the weird shadow baby
They
that
didn't.
killed
They didn't.
that
And I
killed
want to know.
what's his name? Renly.
Yeah.
Like what happened to it after that?
I
I
don't know. I thought that was gonna be something that was going to go around killing everything,
Yeah.
but it was just friendly. Like, what?
I don't know.
It
And
made
like
no
if you could
sense.
do that, why didn't you do and if okay, and let's say it like just vanished after that. Let's say it just died. What why couldn't you do
You
that
can
again
go,
for all
right,
your enemies?
right.
Why couldn't you do that for Cersei?
Cersei,
And I'm sure
Ramsay,
there is an explanation in like the books. There wasn't one here.
probably. It was so weird. I remember being so freaked out when she
Yeah.
just started getting undressed, and I was like, what is this girl doing? And all of a sudden her belly just went, and I was like, whoa. I was like, I don't like this at
And
all.
when she takes the necklace off and
Yeah.
she's old,
Oh my God.
it's
It's
like
like,
what
how
is
old are
who
you?
is this lady? What are
Right.
you?
I
And
feel
I
like
do
they didn't get.
appreciate like the mystique surrounding her.
Mhm.
And when
I do,
she
yeah,
like
I do like the mystery, but I wanted to know who she was.
yeah. And well, I think she was nobody, and I'd like to know where she got like the necklace and stuff, and how
Hmm.
she came to be in like the service of the Lord of Light.
Mm.
But I
Maybe
don't
that can be
know.
something the House of Dragon explains. Oh,
Maybe
I've
she's
heard it
that
got
old. Yeah.
hopefully. It takes like 100 and some years
Mm-hmm.
before it was literally like the thing it said was like 190 something years before Daenerys Targaryen. Not before Game
Yeah.
of Thrones, not before this, not before this. It's Daenerys.
Right.
And they confirmed in season 2 that Daenerys was the prince that was chosen or whatever the thing was. It's
Mm.
like John wasn't supposed to be the one who was supposed to like do everything. It's supposed to be Daenerys from the beginning.
Mm. Well, a
And it
lot of
was
good she did.
so satisfying. I was like,
Mm.
yep, she was supposed to do this. She was supposed to be great. And y'all ruined her for no reason.
They ruined her for, well, I think, I think, I mean, like I said, I liked the idea of her descending into madness. I don't like how they did it. I don't
Yeah.
like the rushed pace it
Hmm.
took. What were we saying a second ago before?
I don't remember. Something about
Okay.
the red lady.
The Red Lady.
Hmm.
Okay. Um,
And then the dude, like Renly
Shadow,
and Stannis.
Renly, Stannis. Uh,
I
what?
love Sir Devos.
I
He
loved
his
him
character
so
is real
much.
cool.
Yeah, I liked when he would be in like a meeting or something with Stannis or whoever he was serving at the
Yeah.
time,
Hmm.
and like the Stannis wouldn't hasn't convinced the person they're trying to convince. So he's like, if I might say something, my lord, and
Hmm.
like you just know he's about to drop some wisdom.
Oh yeah.
Just this charismatic mother freaker.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He was so smooth with everything. He got everything done.
He was awesome. I love
Amazing.
Davos so much. Uh, and his relationship with Shireen
That's her name.
too was so good, and it ended so sadly. The moment where he finds the horse was, ooh,
Hmm. Hmm. I loved him working with John. I
yeah,
think that was a great pairing.
it was. John worked great with a lot of people, and he should have
Oh
worked
yeah.
better in those last couple seasons if they hadn't forgotten
Hmm.
how to write.
No, for real.
Now I'm mad. I was about to make like a good point, and I don't remember it. What the heck? Um, it's not my. Okay, whatever. Oh yeah, so I got it now. So
Okay.
one thing I read somewhere was like one of the things about the show and the books is like it's supposed to be what happens after the happily ever after of like a traditional fantasy story.
Hmm.
Because like you look at Robert's Rebellion, right, and it has all the marks and tropes of like one of those traditional stories,
Right,
right,
right.
with the evil Mad King and
Yes.
the rebellion and
Hmm.
the brave strong hero in Robert Baratheon
Yeah.
and all
I
this
want a Rob
stuff.
Baratheon background. Anyway, I want more on him.
Right, he was awesome and all that, and he ended up winning the rebellion and becoming king and all that.
Yeah.
And this shows kind of what happens to that afterwards. Like,
After. Yeah.
he doesn't even want to be on the throne at this point.
Right.
He's a
Yeah, he's done.
drunkard. He's fat. It's just, and he's just not good for the kingdom, which is why
Hmm.
Varys gets him killed.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That's one of the very interesting like aspects about it to me. Just from
I love like I'll be seeing some TikToks or whatever of like Robert Baratheon being like at his peak and like the fan art of it and everything.
yeah, like
He's a
fighting
scary
Rhaegar.
dude. I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like in this like helmet thing with antlers.
Hmm.
He's huge. He's terrifying. And I'm like, I need a show about that. I
Yeah.
need something on that. Like, that would be amazing to see.
Gods, I was strong then. And like, and of course now he's really funny and you do like him.
Yes.
He's another one of those short-lived characters that like leaves an impact.
Yeah.
But
I was like, why'd you have to die? Like, I mean, like, yeah, you weren't a good king, but like, come on.
he's a good
You were cool.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved him. I loved so much about this show, and then
Oh
I
my
didn't.
God. Oh yeah. It went downhill way too fast. And I was loving it so much.
It's been a long time since I've been quite as addicted to a show. Like I don't
Oh
even know
yeah.
if I was this addicted to Breaking Bad as I was to Game of Thrones. And I was addicted
Game
to
of Thrones was
Breaking
my
Bad.
first like addicted show. I was like, I
Yeah.
need to be watching it all the time.
Mm-hmm. I was watching so many episodes a day. I made it through these seasons so quickly when the
Hmm.
show was still good.
I
Uh
I was trying to finish it as fast as I could to watch House of Dragon 2
ah,
because like the season 1 was already out and then like season 2 was coming out in May
mm-hmm.
or June, whatever it was.
Whatever.
And
You
I
were on
was
a
like,
deadline.
I was like, I gotta finish this fast because I don't want spoilers for season 2. I'm gonna watch it while it's live. And I would just get so excited when an episode got live on Sunday night. I would watch it. Oh my God, there's so many shocking things in season two. I was just sitting there, I was like, I'm eating this up. And
Yeah.
then ended it in that insane cliffhanger. And we're not supposed to get season two for like another 2 or 3 years.
Ooh.
And me and my friend Grace, and we were like, what do we do now? What in the world?
Hmm.
And now literally all he and I do is send each other Game of Thrones or House of Dragon TikToks or Reels.
Ha.
Every day there is
Nice.
something sent between us.
Yeah, I don't know how or why, but TikTok started showing me like Game of Thrones edits, and
It's
I'm
the
okay with it.
algorithm.
Yeah,
It hears
right.
you talking.
Yeah, it's the Chinese like
Yeah.
spyware. But like I'm okay with it. I like Game of Thrones content.
My favorite is when it's always like the aesthetic of it or like
Mm,
just like edits of just the overall vibe. And I'm like,
yeah.
absolute favorite.
I love the just and you see like even despite how it ended,
Mhm.
the show is still a masterpiece for a
Oh
while,
yeah.
long
Oh yeah.
enough to like maintain, I think, deserved status as one of the best shows ever.
Oh,
And
definitely.
with a lot of the best characters ever. Like
Mhm.
the characters are what make this show really. And
Absolutely.
I mean like any show obviously. And it's just such a great world to get lost in with characters to fall in love with or
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
fall into hatred with.
Right.
And it's I don't imagine I'll do a rewatch in the near future, but I can see myself doing
I
it
would need
one
some
day.
insane free time again. I
Right.
have so many shows
Like
I'm trying to
I
watch right
think
now.
yeah, me too. I think I'll rewatch it one day if I'm showing it to somebody,
Oh yeah.
but
I've always wanted to have like a boyfriend or whatever where like they've never seen Game of Thrones. I love seeing TikToks of like showing my boyfriend the Red Wedding for the first time, and I'm
yes,
like, oh, I needed to do something with someone,
I
or even if
know.
it's just like one of my sisters, I need them to start watching this thing and be like,
Mm,
I need to see a reaction to this.
I
I need to see a reaction to this.
yeah,
Like even
I
just having you watch this and you texted me your reaction, best thing. Like, dude, when you texted me you watched the Red Wedding, I was at a frat party.
I think yeah, you've told me
I was I
you're
was
talking to a guy
screaming.
about Game
I
of
was talking to
Thrones.
this guy about Game of Thrones. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, look at this.
Yeah, and
And I have a picture. Oh my God. I can't remember where it is, but
oh
it was you sending your reaction to the grandma lady um saying tell Cersei I
oh
wanted
I
to know it
wanted to
was
know.
me.
Yeah.
You just started snapping me instantly in so many. I was like, oh, he's watching something. Something's
Yeah.
happening. And for a second, I thought you finished it, so it was like the end of your
Yeah.
reaction. But I was like, oh my God, there's actually no way.
Yeah.
But
No, I did like I set up a camera, I recorded my full reaction to the last
okay,
episode. But the thing, I don't know if that I'm actually gonna do anything with it, 'cause like
yeah,
it was like I barely reacted. I was like, this I just
you
wanted
could
it to
use
be
like the if
done.
you have any other photos or anything, like you can use that reaction to Jon Snow dying 'cause that's funny. And then like something else, just
Yeah.
like snippets.
It looks like a Mr. Beast thumbnail. Oh, yeah.
That's the
But
thumbnail for this episode.
uh, yeah, I should do that. I should put it on there. But yeah, I did try to start recording when I felt like something big was gonna happen, like with
Mhm.
Lady Olenna.
Yeah.
Only towards the end. If I had started doing that earlier, I would have gotten some great moments.
Oh yeah.
But I'm okay that I didn't.
Right.
And
I was my always my reactions were just texting Grace and being
right.
like,
Yeah, I'm glad I have the memory of just being in my bed and watching the Red Wedding, and then like after staring at the ceiling for a minute, being like, I need to
yeah.
tell somebody. Like I was like, oh, I'll just watch one episode, then I'll go to sleep. It'll be
Right,
fine.
right.
Then, like I will not be going to sleep anytime
No.
soon. So I'm
It's like
like,
after seeing all that, I'm scarred.
I just watched the Red Wedding. Rob and
Yeah.
Catelyn are dead. Uh, I'm not okay. I was
Not good.
screaming internally.
Oh my God.
Like that was all caps I was texting you and it was oh and I'm
So
so
funny.
grateful that I was able to experience this show and that it
Hmm.
incited the reactions it did in me.
So good. It's all worth it too. Like I was like 8 seasons, that's a lot. I'm at school, But I'm like, it'll be whatever. I'll just put it on the background. It was never on the background. I was fully paying attention.
Yeah. Yeah,
If
no,
I
I was
put it in the
locked
background, I
in.
was gonna be confused.
Yeah,
Like,
if I put it in the background, I wouldn't be able to pay attention to the foreground.
right, exactly. Literally, and like after I was like kind of done watching it, my sorority sister and I had to clean our chapter room, and she put on the first episode, like very first episode, and I'm like, it could be a background show now. Like, oh my God. I
Yeah.
was like, I
Yeah.
love this now. Just watch
But
whatever episode I like, whenever.
yeah, like as soon as you know what, I almost I almost never skipped the intro. I loved
I
it.
never skipped it.
I yeah. It
It's the
was
same song for
for
House of
House
the
of the
Dragon.
Dragon, right?
I almost
Yeah.
thought they were gonna change it for a second,
Mm,
but they changed the intro, obviously, like the pictures and stuff like that.
right.
The first one's like um it's like some sort of like blood work doing something crazy cool. It's interesting. And the second season, it's the best one. It's the best one. It's
Ooh.
changing throughout the episodes. So after something happens in the episode, it gets added on.
Oh, that's
It's like
cool.
a so it starts off with like a tapestry being made
Yeah.
of like events that happened in season one, and then it was either season I think it was episode two, something gruesome happens, and so then they add that to the scene. It's like a little thing to that, and then the third episode something happens, and they add it to the thing, and by the end, it's just a whole tapestry of everything that's happened in the season, and it's so cool. It's so satisfying, and I'm like, I will never skip this intro ever.
Yeah. It's such a banger too. Like
It is.
I added it to my Spotify liked
Oh
songs
yeah,
so
it's in my
fast.
playlist. It is on
Yeah.
my playlist.
And it came on in the
I'm
car
looking
the
up
other
the name.
day,
Yeah,
and Tucker gave me a look, and I'm like, "Don't you dare give me that look. It is a banger, and you know it's a
it
banger."
is. Oh, it's Goodbye Brother. It's from the first season, but they use that it's like for like the introing, like introducing like the Starks or
Yeah.
anytime something's going on, it's just always that little bit of like I guess violin or some sort of like
Mm,
string instrument in the background. I have that in my place and I listen to that all the time. Oh my
yeah.
God. Once it snows, I will be walking in the snow with that in my earbuds.
Man, yeah. Show makes me want to grab a sword and just go out in the snow and be
Dude,
cool.
I went to I cannot remember what the name it's called, but this I think it's called Harper's Ferry. Sounds right? I don't know. It's a little town in West Virginia. I went and visited my friend over in DC up in the summer, and we got bored one day and just drove to West Virginia. And
Okay,
yeah, right? Casual. It was like a
as
three
you
hour
do.
drive, right? And this one shop was selling a lot of jewelry, but then they had a bunch of like daggers and swords. And I
Ooh.
was like, don't test me, man. Don't
I,
test
kn-
me.
I
And one of them was Jon Snow's sword.
Longclaw?
Yes.
Oh my
And then
gosh.
and there was a whole bunch of like pocket watches and a bunch of things. And one of them was designed with like the front with a Targaryen emblem and
Oh,
like the inside with the same thing but colored. And another one had the Stark icon thing. And then oh my God, I was like, I need a million of these things right now. I was like, but I need Jon Snow's sword someday in my life. Like that will
I
be a
don't
purchase
imagine it
made.
was cheap.
Oh no. It was like $200. I was like,
That's
I
less than I
have
thought, actually.
no, it was like 200, 300. I was like, pretty good.
Yeah.
Not. I was like, I
I
have
can just
$80 to my name right now.
I, c-
That is it.
I can just imagine like you coming home with a sword and your mom
She'd be
just
like, where'd you get that? And
what you got there?
yeah, I don't think
I
she'd be
got
phased.
it's long claw.
Duh.
I'd like to see your dad. Your dad would want to swing it around.
He'd be so excited. He'd laugh. He would laugh. He'd like, no way.
Yeah, no, you'd need to like you'd need to like set up some cans or dummies or something and just
Oh yeah. It'd be amazing. Have the songs playing full blast. Just go at it,
yeah.
swinging everything. I'll bring it to school. It'd be great. That definitely would cause something.
Yeah. I mean, what are they gonna do? You gonna
Can't
start
take
a
it from
school?
me.
Yeah. Great show. I We've been at this for like an hour and a half.
I think so, yeah. It's a
Yeah.
long one.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, I figured it would be.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of seasons.
Lot to talk about, lot to unpack.
Yeah.
And I don't know, did you have anything else you wanted to bring up? That
Mm-mm.
uh, yeah,
I have no idea.
me neither. But
I
yeah,
just need I need a dragon. They're so cool. I love
dragons
those
are
dragons.
awesome. The CGI in the show was pretty good.
It looks so
Like
realistic, and I was like, I need one right now. Like, and they get better and better in House of the Dragon because they have like a million going around. Not obviously not a million, it's like 10 dragons, and I'm like,
yeah,
and they're so
oh, true.
different, and I'm like, I need one.
Yeah, I did like the dragons in this show.
Hmm.
Um Even if sometimes it felt like they just weren't really doing much with them. Every
No,
now and
like
then it would be like they remembered they had dragons and they
right. I felt like all of Daenerys' story was just about building her army rather
mm,
than one doing anything with it, and two, like not even using her dragons.
yeah, which that is the thing is like it was set 6 seasons of build up with her building her armies and
Yeah,
consolidating power and all that. So you could argue like no matter what, it was going to be really, really difficult for season 7 to live up when she
oh yeah.
finally invaded Westeros.
Hmm.
But I still think it could have lived up if they'd maintained the quality that they had
Hmm.
previously.
Hmm.
But still, it's all
It's
everything at the
good.
beginning is
Yeah.
good.
All the way
And
up till parts of season 7 and season 8.
yeah. And yeah,
Yeah.
fantastic show. I really want to read the books now, even though
Me
I
too.
know it's I know I'm just gonna be like clamoring for more, and
Oh
there's not
yeah.
gonna be more because he's been working on The Winds of Winter since 2011.
Insane. Insane. That could be out by like 2012.
He thought he would. He was supposed to have it all out by the time the show ended.
He was too busy watching it. He was like, "Oh,
Mm,
wait, hold on."
yeah. Well, he said so for a while he was like writing one of the episodes per season,
Yeah.
and then he said he stopped doing that so he could focus on writing The Winds of Winter. But of course, he still hasn't
You still
published
don't have
it.
anything.
I don't know. I am one of the reasons I am excited to read the books is like I know all the ideas that were had that I
Mhm.
liked that weren't executed well
Yeah.
will not all, but a lot of them probably will be in the books
Right,
eventually.
right.
If we're being optimistic. And but like done in a good way. Uh
Hmm.
I imagine.
I wonder, like, if he does release the book, like, but you think they film something? Like, I like it could be something so different than what happened in season 8, and they could be
Mm.
like, do we make a reprise of season 8 type thing? Like, you're like, actually, none of that happened.
It was all a bad dream.
Right,
But I mean,
right.
they kind of can't do that though, because season 7 ended with the White Walkers breaching the wall, right?
No, literally. Yeah, it did.
So they they wouldn't just stop for this. You could do like a time skip to explain how they got older,
No.
but that wouldn't exactly explain the White Walkers just doing nothing for however many years.
Right.
So it's kind of
They've just been
screwed,
standing there waiting.
and it's the show's not getting fixed,
Mm-mm.
and it's fine. Like, the
Oh
sooner we
well.
accept that, the better. I'm not gonna spend years being angry about it like I did with the Star Wars sequels. Ah,
I was at Barnes and Noble and they had a vinyl for season 8.
ooh.
And I was talking with my friend Drake about how I was watching it and or how I just finished it. I was like, it was terrible. And then this
Soundtrack was good though.
random man comes up. He's like mid 30s, maybe. Clearly is a nerd.
Oh no.
Clearly. And just tried going on a tangent of how like it could have been. And I'm like,
Okay.
hey man, I
I
don't
don't know
care
you.
that much. I don't care actually. Like obviously I have my own opinions of what could have happened, but I'm not over here preaching to them about with strangers. but okay.
Yeah.
It was so weird. And like
That's
I'm like
funny.
the fact that there are people who like focus entirely on like what could have been and make it their entire personality.
I know it.
Like no. No,
It
thank you.
just like why are we wasting time focusing on
This show's been done for a while. We need to
yeah.
let it go. We like House of Dragons is out. Let's focus on that now, please.
Yeah. Hmm.
And it's a lot better from season 8. It's
Yeah.
really, really good, guys. Trust me.
That's such
Even
a high
even if
bar.
even with the weird uncle and niece relationship that I've grown to like, it's fine.
Mm, it's the Targaryen. How'd you feel about Jon and Daenerys'
Hated it,
relationship?
hated it,
Okay.
hated it, hated it. I did not want them to be romantic. I couldn't see it. I was not over Ygritte's death. I don't care how long it was. I was not over it. I was like, they needed to be together the rest of the time.
Yeah.
But and like my friend Grayson was like, that's like my favorite couple. And I looked at him and was like, you're insane. That's his
There
aunt.
are so many better couples in the show.
Literally.
Let's see, top of my head. Tyrion and Shay until it wasn't.
No.
Uh, uh,
Now that I think about it, I feel like the couples are all just weird.
yeah, were there good couples? Uh, let me think here. Ned and
No.
Catelyn.
I mean,
That didn't last long.
yes, they were great. Wait, no, no, not Netting. I'm thinking Sam and
Sam and oh shoot.
I don't remember her name. The one
It
who
was
had the
something
baby.
weird. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm,
they were
man,
great.
it was like
Oh,
a plan. Um,
Tilly,
Tit. Yes.
Tilly.
Okay, Gilly.
Oh, I thought it was Tilly. It's Gilly. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Gilly. Okay.
Yes, Gilly.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
were.
I
I
think they
loved
were the only
them.
good couple, except
They
for
might have
Albert
been
and that girl, but she was crazy.
over in. Yeah, she was crazy. Also, they might have been related or something. I'm not sure.
Everybody's related somehow in this show.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ned and Caitlin, Rob and
Rob and what's her face.
yeah,
Yeah. Like as much as even though it led to his death, it was they were a good couple.
they're great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
And I
think they've
couldn't
actually
really
a good
blame him
couple.
either, you know.
Right. I think
But
Sam and Gilly were the best.
probably
The
they
ones who
probably
lasted the
were.
most.
Yeah.
Oh my
It
gosh.
man,
Yeah, because everybody else is like what could have been couples.
mm,
Huh.
yeah. Or it was, but unfortunately, it's either what could have been, or
Mm.
it was, but it didn't last long, or it
Yeah.
was, but it was weird,
Hmm.
or it was, but it ended tragically.
I weirdly liked oh my God, this is terrible. Like the redhead girl who like married the younger Lannister kid.
Oh, uh,
I forgot her name.
Tommen and Tyrell, Marjorie Tyrell.
Marjorie. I wanted to say Meredith. I knew that was not right.
Yeah.
But I
Well, the thing is,
weirdly
it was that was like that was kind of her just wanting power,
I
and
know that, but like
yeah,
you can see that he really liked her and she had a
yeah,
soft spot for him.
true.
I kind of liked that, but I was like,
Yeah.
but still, like, I don't know.
Tommen was another character that was like too good for this show.
Too
He was
good,
too
too
innocent
good.
for a
The way
Lannister
he just
and for
easily just
King.
walked right off that window, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I guess that's it. Fine.
Yeah. I was very interested to see where Cersei went after all her children were dead.
Oh my God, I know.
Uh,
Especially like after that witch or whatever told her that's what's going to happen. She
mm,
knew and she was like, yep, I'm going to go insane. It's fine. Like, I would too, babe.
yeah. I mean, we could spend all day talking about so much. We've already
I
spent a
know.
while.
Yeah,
Like
we might need to wrap it up.
yeah, but I think we should. The characters, the storylines, the
Oh,
character dynamics, the action, the fights, the subversions of expectations.
hmm.
Time and time again, this show just has so much going for it, and it's so much nicer when you focus on all the awesomeness rather than a few seasons of disappointment, you know?
Right. Yeah. When you look at it as a whole, it's actually really, really good.
Yeah.
That has one bad part, one bad like section.
Yeah. And I mean, I appreciate that it exists, you
Oh
know?
yeah. Oh yeah.
And I don't know that there'll be anything quite like it for a long time.
Who knows if House of the Dragon is gonna live up to it or not?
Yeah, and I think this is the second HBO series, third, because Last of Us is one.
Mhm.
Uh, and all the HBO shows I've watched have been excellent. Like
What was
this,
the other one?
Sopranos,
Oh,
and Last of
Sopranos.
Us. I think
Yeah.
Sopranos is still my favorite show,
Oh, okay.
but like I don't know. Again, I don't know that I've ever been as addicted to one as I was to this.
Right.
But yeah, I despite its reputation for the ending, I would recommend Game of Thrones to anyone who's not
100%.
too squeamish. Uh,
Yeah.
a
There's a lot of blood.
lot of blood, lot of boobs, uh, a penis here and there, all the fun stuff. So that'll wrap it up for this episode of the Pulp Diction podcast. Remember to like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Hit the bell for notifications every time post a new one. Follow us on Spotify. Hit us with a 5-star review.
Also on Instagram,
Follow us on
we
Instagram. I
got
keep forgetting we're
yeah,
on Instagram now.
yeah, we
Yeah,
are.
Pulp Diction Podcast. Yeah, occasionally I'll post a reel on there. Usually it's just announcing that there's a new video podcast or whatever.
Just a snippet of something.
Yeah, a little snippet.
Yeah.
And I need to get it on Apple Podcasts one of these days,
Mm.
but not today. And yeah, that'll do it. Uh
Bye.
bye. And so our watch is ended.